Hello everyone and welcome to another Discipline Priest commentary video. This time we're going to be looking at Shadow Lord Iskar. This is of course on Mythic difficulty. At the beginning of the fight here we have a little bit of fun with the ticking eye damage, which I would highly advise against doing, but I wanted to use this video in particular because it has a lot of good talking points. In this poll I get selected to do a lot of mechanics, so make sure to watch how I'm handling those as well as what I'm doing for healing. One thing that I didn't get was the Fel Chakram targeting me, so I'll just make a quick note that you can Spectral Guise the Chakram if it targets you, and it won't go out at all. It'll do 0 raid damage, your other raiders won't have to move, it will be an overall DPS gain if you can pull it off. So take that talent and make sure that you use it if you can. First off, for healing, your cooldowns should be used on either the Fel Chakrams or the Focus Blasts. Those are the two big points of burst damage in the fight. Now you won't have cooldowns for every single one, but when your Power Infusion and your Halo and your Barrier are ready, those are the abilities that you're going to be looking to use them on. For the rest of the fight, aside from those abilities, you should be using Power Word Shield as your filler spell like usual. However, for this fight, you will want to be more aggressive in doing that, because every time someone holds the orb, they get a stacking dot, as well as there being another dot in the fight named Phantasmal Wounds. So with two different dots floating around, there's going to be very few wasted Power Word Shields on this fight. Now here we are in the intermission phase. In this phase, I dispelled the green bomb already, and now I'm going to get targeted by the laser. And when I get targeted by the laser, I actually run into it on purpose, and what this does is that it limits the amount of fire on the ground. It's very dangerous to do this, but it's also very helpful to the raid if you can live. And since you're a disciplined priest, you have a lot of tools at your disposal to survive, so pop a shield on yourself, jump into the fire, and you should be good to go. You'll see this happen again later, and the fire later really takes up no room at all. So here we are going back into phase 1, the boss phase, and I've used my Archangel. You'll see I pop Power Infusion and Halo to deal with the Fel Chakram. And after that's done, you can pretty much take your pick of anyone with a debuff that you see on your raid frames, which you can see on my raid frames is quite a lot of people. So take your pick and shield their dot damage. So if you're watching for the lasers, you'll see that the laser that I jump into right here, the patch of fire on the ground is very, very small in comparison to what it could be if you would have kited the laser. And this is very helpful because we're going into an intermission phase right here, and it gives us more room to work within the intermission phase. For this intermission in particular, this is the second intermission, I have the Warden targeted. Just in case I get the eye, I can interrupt the Warden and also dispel very quickly. In the intermission phases, you should always be aware of what the eye is doing or what the eye should be doing. The way that I do this is to always have the Warden targeted. If you have the Warden targeted, it'll show you that he's casting and that you can interrupt that cast if you have the eye. And the second part of the intermission phase that you should be paying attention to, like I mentioned earlier, was dispelling the bomb. So if you keep those two things in mind during the intermission phase, the phase should go fairly smoothly for you. Those are actually all of the special instructions I have for you. This fight tends to repeat itself, so once you get it the first time, it will be the same thing every time after that. Just to recap very quickly, we're using our cooldowns on the Fel Chakram or the Focus Blast, either one is good. We're taking Spectral Guise to completely cancel a Fel Chakram that targets us. We're targeting the Warden in intermissions for interrupts, and we're also watching the bomb timer to dispel in intermissions. And finally, if we're not doing anything else, we are helping shield any dots that are out on the raid. If you can handle all of those things, there's also the optional strategy that gives your raid a little bit more utility, and that is jumping in the laser if it targets you. So you'll save your raid some extra space by doing that, and just be sure to be ready with the shield, a penance or a healing tonic, really anything that's going to help you live if you're planning on standing in the fire. The last phase here is more of the same thing, except the DPS are burning the boss, so the intermission ads will be up the entire time. But you just have to continue being aware of what is happening with the interrupts and the dispels. The end of the fight will be approaching here, so use the rest of your cooldowns, drop a barrier, pop your Archangel, use Power Infusion if it's up, and just hope your DPS can kill the boss before the boss kills you. So that's it for Shadow Lord Iskar. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I do have a little bit more free time now, so I'll be pumping out some videos very rapidly here, so make sure to stay tuned to my YouTube for that, and I'll talk to you guys next time.